Hello friends. Uh, you know, by chance I just came across this channel on YouTube called Pee Wee Toms. Pee Wee Toms, all one word. And what it was about this guy. He's 32-year-old, and he's documented his cancer. And it's not such a sad story, so hear me out, okay? And I will talk about it in this particular topic, okay? So stick around, guys. Yeah, so this topic of today, it just brought it home to me, and I think it'll bring it home to a lot of you as well when you hear this story that that I've got to say. This guy, and his name was Dan actually, but I think his surname was Thomas. And like I said, the YouTube channel for you to watch is Pee Wee Toms. And the P is a capital, and the Wee is a capital, and it's all one word, and the T is a capital. Pee Wee Toms. Now what it is, guys, really, it's he found out he had cancer, and I think he was a software engineer or an IT engineer. British. He lived in I can't remember now. Well, it was near Bristol anyway, in the UK. And he found out he had cancer. So what he decided to do, he decided to document all of it. And this was going on for 3 years. And do you know what? He's probably one of the most bravest men that I've ever not met, because I didn't meet him, but ever known. You know, he never complained. He was just documenting everything, down to his operations, his treatments. Anyway, this cancer that he had it was terminal, and he had tumours everywhere. Good looking man as well. He was a good looking guy. And he started off, he had his full face, and he was eating every 2 hours, because he knew that the procedures that he had to face coming up would take it out of him. So he forced himself to eat every 2 hours. Anyway, he had many operations, and it was terminal. He knew it was terminal. And if you see this channel, guys, you'll know what I'm talking about. I would recommend you. And he had so many followers on this. Perhaps you guys have heard of this anyway. But he had so many followers all over the world, and he had his an Instagram channel that was following, that he was documenting and things like that, and a website. And what he did, he set up a community for people like him who had cancers, and they just didn't know who to talk to. So he set up this own community where people, cancer patients could talk to each other, and such things like that. And he said, and this is why I'm bringing this up today, he actually said many times that at 32 years old, he hadn't done anything that he wanted to do. And he said, never waste time, because we simply never know. And it can be too late. Like for him, it was too late. He had so many plans to do. He had so many plans that he was planning on doing, and so many things that he wanted to do. And he had a bucket list, and he was slowly ticking these things off his bucket list, like going to concerts and festivals, and you saw him getting weaker and weaker and thinner. But he never complained, guys. He never complained, not once. All of the suffering that he was going through, he never once complained, and didn't blame anybody. And he was determined to fight for as long as he could. But the things that were sticking in my mind that he said was, take every day like it's your last. Because he wasn't expecting to get this cancer. None of us expect cancers or other diseases that can take us out at any time. So we must never waste anything. Don't waste our time. And this feeling that we have is, I can't wait until tomorrow. I'm just saying as an example, you know, because maybe tomorrow you've got something to look forward to. So we say, I can't wait until tomorrow. Well, that's wishing away time. And I know it's just a figure of speech. I know that. It is simply just a figure of speech. But really, time is something that we can't get back. Whether we have a long life or whether we don't have a long life. Time is something that is ticking away. It ticking away. And we don't know when it's going to take us. And this guy, this Dan, he was saying this, and and what he wanted to do, he wanted to help people, not just with cancers, but just with anything in life. Like, no matter what you're going through, you've got to make the best of it. Because you can't change things. You can't change things what you're going through. And it stuck him. And I watched all of his videos, all of it, because he's from the start right up until the end. The end where he was in he died, and they scattered his ashes and things like this in the church ceremony. And this channel was very well known. I don't know how I didn't come across it before, but I think it was just YouTube algorithms just took it up in front of me, and I thought, what's that? And I started to watch it, and I couldn't stop watching it. I watched them all yesterday, and I think they only 8 or 10 minutes each video. So I did watch them all. And it just, we just don't know. So wasting time is something that we should never even do, And if things aren't, we aren't in a happy situation or a happy place, then why do we stay in that place where we are unhappy? We should move out of that place or do something, to improve the situation. Because we all deserve happiness. Every one of us deserves happiness. But sometimes we're in these predicaments and these situations where we aren't happy. And yes, I understand the fact that, many people haven't got the money to do exactly what they want to do. So we should make the best of what we have, and, what I think sometimes, when I feel a bit shitty, and I think, hold on, Stephen, there is many more people worse off than me. What have I got to be sad about? What have I got to, to mourn about when I've got my health, I've got my family? Yes, I'm not a rich person, but that doesn't matter. Health is much more important than wealth. So, yes, money makes things, like this guy, he had so much money, but, money couldn't buy him the time. And he was on all of these different medicines, and even some of these trial medicines, he accepted them. Nothing worked. And he had the chemotherapy, and he was on so many different tablets every day, and the tumours just kept growing. They kept getting bigger and bigger. So he survived for 3 years anyway, and they didn't think he was going to survive for the 3 years, but he did. And I remember the last video where he was laid down, and he thought he was going home, but he didn't. He died, I think, a few hours after that. And then the next video is all of his family. They all together, his wife, his family, and they just in the house and saying, thank you guys for following the channel and that, and they were quite happy, I think, inside, that he'd gone because of the suffering. He had no more suffering, but he never showed you that he was suffering. He said, I'm in pain, I'm in this, but he was smiling, and in most of his videos you would never think he was sick. Because he looked healthy. He looked healthier than that. Well, yeah, he was 32 years old. Of course, he's going to look better than I do, but he looked a lot healthier than I do. And he was dying of cancer. So the moral of this story is, don't waste these times. Don't waste our time, because we never know when something like that can drop a bombshell on any of us. And it doesn't have to be cancer. It can be anything. We can have a stroke. We can have a heart attack. We can have these other diseases that take us out. So we must, and it's imperative, that we try and find happiness in ourselves and happiness of the people around us. And if we not, then take ourselves out of that situation. And that's, today's a very, very quick video on this, because I haven't got anything else to say about it, but just what he was saying, and it just hit home. We can't buy time, regardless of financial status. We can't buy time, guys, and we simply can't buy it. So do whatever you have to do to, to keep yourselves happy. Anything that you have to do, because like Dan, you never know. So guys, I would advise you to take a look at this, and it's not all sad. It's, it's quite happy actually. Some of it's quite happy. Where he was in London and this and that, and he's walking around, and yes, he did deteriorate, but he never. It's not sad. It's sad at the very end when he dies. That's the only sad part. Everything else is quite jolly because he was so knew what he was doing and stuff. But it's Pee Wee Toms. I will leave a link in the description anyway, or the name of his channel, and you can take a look for yourself, guys. And perhaps it might change people's mindsets if you think that the world's upon your shoulders, and maybe think of something that there's always someone worse off than us. Thank you, guys. Don't forget to subscribe. Thank you. Bye-bye.